Deep, resonant breathing, as if channeling Earth's ancient wisdom. What if I told you that beneath your feet lies a quantum communication network older than human civilization? A network that ancient shamans decoded to predict ecological collapse, survive mass extinctions, and manipulate reality itself through nothing more than dots in sand. Pause, letting the weight settle. Right now, as I speak these words, our planet's magnetic field is weakening at an alarming rate of 5% per decade. The thermodynamic equilibrium that has sustained life for millennia is accelerating toward critical tipping points. Biodiversity collapse coefficients indicate we're witnessing the sixth mass extinction in real time. Yet buried in the quantum foam of our reality lies an ancient technology that could either save us or reveal why we're already too late. Rhythm shift. Faster, more urgent. They called it Geomancy, Earth Divination. But what if it's actually quantum field manipulation disguised as fortune-telling? Slow mystical return. I'm about to reveal something that will fundamentally alter how you perceive reality itself. Something that connects the dots between quantum entanglement, planetary consciousness, and the survival matrix that ancient civilizations used to navigate cosmic catastrophes. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand why Geomancy isn't just reading Earth's energy. It's reading the quantum signature of reality's source code. But first, let me ask you something that might save your life. Pattern interrupt conversational. Almost humorous. Have you ever noticed how some places just feel wrong, like scientifically wrong? You walk into a room and your nervous system starts firing warning signals faster than a Geiger counter in Chernobyl. That's not your imagination playing tricks on you. That's your quantum consciousness detecting disruptions in the local space-time fabric that geomancers have been mapping for over 4,000 years. Building tension again. The ancient Egyptians didn't build the pyramids on random sand dunes. The Aboriginal Australians didn't create song lines by accident. The feng shui masters of imperial China weren't just interior decorators with mystical pretensions. They were quantum engineers manipulating probability fields through geometric precision that our modern physics is only beginning to understand. Revelation number 1, scientific mysticism. Here's what the establishment doesn't want you to know. Geomancy operates on the same fundamental principles as quantum field theory. When you create those seemingly random dots in sand, what geomancers call the mothers, you're not just making marks, you're collapsing probability wave functions into observable reality. Each dot represents a binary quantum state, particle or wave. Yes or no, life or death. The survival matrix indicates that consciousness doesn't just observe reality, it actively participates in creating it. Ancient sages understood thermodynamic principles that we're only rediscovering through quantum mechanics. They knew that intention plus attention plus geometric precision equals reality manipulation. Humor injection, pattern interrupt. And here's the beautiful irony. While we're spending billions on particle accelerators to understand quantum entanglement, a barefoot shaman in the Kalahari Desert can predict tomorrow's weather by throwing seeds on the ground. Who's the real scientist here? Back to mystical intensity. But let me show you something that will make your quantum consciousness expand faster than the universe itself. Revelation number 2, planetary connection. Geomancy isn't just about reading energy. It's about reading the planet's survival algorithms. Every geomantic figure, those 16 sacred patterns that emerge from random dots, represents a different aspect of Earth's quantum operating system. Huela the maiden corresponds to Venus energy and reproductive potential. Fortuna major channels Jupiter's expansion principles. Carcer the prison warns of Saturn's restriction and limitation. But here's where it gets quantum level weird. These aren't just symbolic representations. They're actual frequencies, measurable electromagnetic signatures that correlate with planetary magnetic field fluctuations. When a geomancer reads acquisitio, the figure of gain, they're detecting the same quantum coherence patterns that solar physicists measure in coronal mass ejections. Consequence question: what happens when consciousness shifts during ecological collapse? The same thing that happens when you throw dots in sand. Seemingly random events suddenly reveal hidden patterns. The chaos reorganizes into meaning. The meaningless becomes meaningful. Revelation number 3, survival implications. Extinction probability calculations show that previous mass extinctions weren't random events. They followed predictable patterns that geomantic traditions have been tracking for millennia. The Permian extinction, the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, the Ordovician-Silurian event, each one preceded by the same geomantic signatures that we're seeing today. Climate tipping points aren't just atmospheric phenomena. They're quantum phase transitions in the planet's consciousness field. And geomancy, it's the early warning system. Pattern interrupt. Almost whispered, the ancient masters knew something we've forgotten. The Earth doesn't just support life. It is life every mountain, every river. Every grain of sand is a neuron in a planetary brain that's been thinking for 4 billion years. And sometimes it thinks about survival. Building urgency right now as our magnetic field weakens and our climate systems destabilize. The Earth's quantum consciousness is generating survival protocols. The same protocols that allowed our ancestors to navigate ice ages, volcanic winters, and asteroid impacts. The same protocols encoded in geomantic figures that most people dismiss as medieval superstition. Revelation number 4, quantum consciousness. But here's the quantum leap that changes everything. Geomancy isn't just about predicting the future. It's about creating it when you arrange those dots in sand. You're not just reading probability fields, you're actually influencing them. Consciousness doesn't just observe the quantum wave function collapse. It directs it. Think about it. Every geomantic reading is essentially a quantum measurement. The act of observation changes the outcome. The intention of the reader influences the result. The questions you ask determine the answers you receive. It's the observer effect applied to divination. Except the observer is your quantum consciousness and the observed is reality itself. Humor break. And unlike quantum physicists who need billion-dollar laboratories to play with probability, geomancers have been doing quantum experiments with sticks and dirt for thousands of years. Talk about cost-effective research. Back to mystical intensity, revelation number 5, ancient quantum technology. The 16 geomantic figures aren't just symbols. They're quantum algorithms. Each one represents a different way that consciousness can interface with the quantum field. Via the Way teaches us how to navigate probability paths. Tristitia Sorrow shows us how to transmute suffering into wisdom. Letitia Joy reveals how to amplify positive quantum states. Ancient sages understood thermodynamic principles that we're only beginning to grasp. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Only transformed consciousness is energy. Intention is energy. Geometric patterns are energy. And geomancy, it's the art of energy transformation through consciousness-directed quantum field manipulation. Consequence question: could magnetic field disruption connect to spiritual awakening? When the Earth's protective electromagnetic shell weakens, our consciousness becomes more sensitive to cosmic radiation. Solar wind and galactic frequency changes. The same sensitivity that allows deep space astronauts to experience profound spiritual states is the same sensitivity that ancient geomancers cultivated to read the quantum signature of reality. Revelation number 6, planetary healing potential. But here's where geomancy becomes a survival tool for the quantum age. It's not just about reading energy patterns. It's about healing them. When you understand how consciousness interfaces with quantum fields, you can actually repair damaged probability matrices. You can restore coherence to chaotic systems. You can heal the Earth's energy grid through intentional geometric intervention. Feng Shui masters have been doing this for millennia, redirecting water flow to optimize qi, placing stones to harmonize ley lines, building structures that amplify positive quantum states. But now with our planet's energy systems in crisis, geomancy isn't just about creating beautiful gardens. It's about planetary triage, pattern interrupt. Conversation. Imagine if every human being understood that their thoughts, intentions, and actions create ripples in the quantum field. Imagine if we could consciously participate in healing the Earth's damaged energy matrix instead of accidentally making it worse. That's not wishful thinking, that's applied quantum geomancy. Revelation number 7. Survival matrix activation. The survival matrix indicates that consciousness evolution and planetary healing are quantum entangled processes. As the Earth's energy systems destabilize, human consciousness naturally begins awakening to its quantum nature. The crisis isn't just happening to us, it's happening through us. We're not just witnesses to planetary transformation. We're the instruments of it. Every geomantic reading is a small act of quantum intervention. Every time you ask the Earth a question and listen for the answer, you're participating in the planet's healing process. The dots in sand aren't just random marks, they're acupuncture points in the quantum field. Tiny moments where consciousness touches reality and reality responds. Benefit question: how might quantum consciousness accelerate planetary healing? The same way it accelerates everything else, through coherent intention, geometric precision, and sustained attention. When enough conscious beings align their quantum signatures with the Earth's healing protocols, we create what physicists call quantum coherence, the state where individual particles begin acting as a unified system. Revelation number 8. Geometric consciousness. Ancient traditions understood that consciousness isn't random. It follows geometric patterns. Sacred geometry isn't just pretty pictures, it's the mathematics of awareness itself. The flower of life, the golden ratio. The Platonic solids, these aren't just artistic expressions. They're quantum blueprints for consciousness evolution. Geomantic figures are the same thing. Geometric encodings of different consciousness states. When you learn to read them, you're learning to read the quantum signature of your own awareness. When you learn to generate them, you're learning to consciously participate in reality creation. Humor injection, and the best part. Unlike meditation retreats that cost thousands of dollars and require you to sit in uncomfortable positions for hours, geomancy works whether you're enlightened or not. The Earth doesn't care about your spiritual credentials. It just responds to genuine intention and geometric precision. Revelation number 9. Planetary consciousness integration. But here's the quantum leap that most people miss. Geomancy isn't just about individual consciousness. It's about species consciousness. Every time you perform a geomantic reading, you're contributing data to the collective quantum field. Your questions, your intentions, your observations become part of humanity's shared probability matrix. The Earth's consciousness and human consciousness are quantum entangled. As we evolve, the planet evolves. As the planet changes, we change. The climate crisis isn't just an environmental challenge, it's a consciousness evolution catalyst. The survival matrix is forcing us to remember what indigenous shamans never forgot. We are the Earth dreaming itself into new forms of existence. Consequence question: what happens when 7 billion humans suddenly realize they're quantum co-creators of reality? What happens when we stop being victims of climate change and start being conscious participants in planetary transformation? The same thing that happens when you throw dots in sand and suddenly see patterns emerge from chaos. Meaning reveals itself. Purpose becomes clear and the next step becomes obvious. Revelation number 10. Quantum shamanic activation. The ancient term geomancy literally means earth divination, but the deeper translation is consciousness conversing with the living planet. Every mountain, every river, every grain of sand is a quantum node in the Earth's consciousness network. And you're not just reading that network, you're an active participant in it. When you learn geomantic techniques, you're not just learning divination, you're learning how to communicate with planetary intelligence. You're learning how to receive and transmit quantum information through the Earth's consciousness grid. You're becoming what the ancient traditions called a bridge between worlds, a quantum interface between human consciousness and planetary awareness. Pattern, interrupt, urgent whisper. But here's what the establishment doesn't want you to know. Building to climax, the same quantum principles that make geomancy possible also make consciousness evolution inevitable. The Earth's magnetic field isn't just weakening randomly, it's preparing for a quantum phase transition. The climate isn't just changing randomly, it's responding to consciousness shifts in the quantum field. The biodiversity crisis isn't just ecological, it's ontological. Reality itself is evolving, and we're the instruments of that evolution. Benefit question: could ancient practices reverse entropy? When consciousness becomes sufficiently coherent, it can actually decrease entropy in local systems. That's not mystical speculation, that's quantum mechanics. Consciousness is the universe's way of organizing information. And geomancy, it's the technology for applying that organization to physical reality. Final revelation, solution to the opening problem. So let me answer the question I posed at the beginning. Is geomancy ancient science or fortune-telling? Is quantum technology disguised as divination? Is planetary communication disguised as superstition? Is consciousness evolution disguised as entertainment? The dots in sand aren't random marks. They're quantum interventions in the probability field. The figures aren't symbolic representations. They're frequency signatures of reality's operating system. The readings aren't predictions of fate. They're collaborative conversations with the living universe about what wants to emerge next. Transcendent closing, rhythmic, hypnotic. Ancient sages understood thermodynamic principles that we're only rediscovering. Consciousness and cosmos are one seamless quantum system. When you heal consciousness, you heal the Earth. When you heal the Earth, you heal consciousness. When you learn to read the quantum signature of reality through geomantic practice, you're not just gaining a divination skill. You're awakening to your role as a conscious co-creator in the universe's evolution. The survival matrix indicates that planetary healing and consciousness evolution are quantum entangled processes. The Earth doesn't need us to save it. It needs us to remember that we are it. We are the Earth's quantum consciousness, awakening to its own creative potential. Call to action, building urgency. The question isn't whether geomancy works. The question is whether you're ready to work with it. The question isn't whether consciousness can influence reality. The question is whether you're ready to take responsibility for your influence. The question isn't whether the Earth is conscious. The question is whether you're ready to participate in its consciousness. Final call to action. Every day you wait is another day the planetary quantum field evolves without your conscious participation. Every day you hesitate is another day you remain a passive observer instead of an active co-creator. Every day you dismiss these quantum possibilities as too mystical or not scientific enough is another day you remain disconnected from the most advanced technology in the universe, your own consciousness. The ancient masters are waiting. The Earth is waiting. The quantum field is waiting. The survival matrix is waiting. But entropy acceleration won't wait. Climate tipping points won't wait. Biodiversity collapse won't wait. Mass extinction coefficients won't wait. The time for passive observation is over. The time for quantum participation is now. Learn geomancy, read the Earth's quantum signature. Participate in planetary healing. Become the quantum shaman your ancestors knew you could be. Because the future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create one quantum dot at a time, one geometric pattern at a time. one conscious choice at a time. The Earth is speaking, the quantum field is responding. Reality is evolving, are you listening? Final whisper, the dots in sand are waiting for your consciousness to complete the pattern. What pattern will you choose?